Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. Welcome to tonight's final front load and another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are indeed going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. Folks, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Center's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center does not want you to read that article so much. They have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. So please, folks, read that article, share it on all your social media. Also linked in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC sees through with their threats. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused, and mental health issues as well. So, folks, if you have young children present, please go ahead and utilize those headphones. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and do speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised, all right? Okay, folks, so where we left off last time, and then I finally get to go to bed, thank God. As an example, the FDA has assigned the same device differing classifications depending on the intended use. Consider in that regard cranial electrotherapy stimulators. They are class 2 devices when intended to treat insomnia or anxiety, or class 3 devices when intended to treat depression. I will say it again. You are not understanding what the FDA was trying to do. I'm guessing to the goodness of your own wallets. I will say it again. They are not trying to classify it like you are mentioning here. They are banning it in its entirety for any use at all, which means no use for depression, no use to get you to stop drinking, no use to get you to stop smoking, literally no other use. Understand and comprehend, DC Circuit Court, the words coming out of my mouth. It is an out and out full ban of the device. Completely, utterly, bye bye, see you later. Okay? They're not trying to invoke classifications. They're not trying to say what it can and cannot be used for. They're saying it cannot be used at all for any capacity for any reason, period. And again, I reread that decision. They made that painstakingly clear. But let's go ahead and read this, shall we? As a result, whether a cranial electrotherapy device can be legally marketed will turn at least in part on its intended use. Again, you're missing the point. If the device is intended to treat depression, it can be marketed only after going the rigorous pre market approval process applicable to Class 3 devices. I will bring up the fact again that the current GED, the current iteration, has gone under none of this scrutiny. Literally none. Is there something less than none? Because it applies here. It is stated throughout the entirety of the FDA decision, as well as all the documents dating all the way back to 2014 when the hearings first began. From the very, very, very beginning, that it was used in one place for a singular purpose. Nobody's using the GED device to treat depression. Okay? That is what's being said here and in the FDA document from that final ban. It doesn't want to regulate. It doesn't want to put it as like class 1, class 2. It doesn't want to regulate to only particular uses. That decision was meant to ban the device completely. All right? So that nothing is left up for interpretation. But here we are, word salad hell. As a result, whether a cranial, we already read through that. So it's not saying it needs to go through test, it's saying it needs to go the way of the dodo. Let me say that again. The FDA at no point throughout the entirety of the FDA's 2020 decision to ban the device at any single point in time said it desired to regulate it to be used for only particular things and not for others, and to classify it as such. It is quite clear they mean to ban the device in its entirety, to not be able to be used by anyone, medical community or not. All right. Let's finish this up while they continue to miss the point. The elephant's not only in the room, he has trumpeted for the last 30 minutes, and you still pretending like he isn't there, even as your ears begin ringing and one freaking, like, the ears are bleeding. You get where I'm going here. I'm tired, folks. To know whether a device may be legally marketed, then, may be necessary to consider the device's intended use. So, what are we learning here? That the DC Circuit Court does not have the first single clue what they're talking about. They are either willfully misinterpreting what the FDA is saying. These are some of the dumbest people I've ever come across, and I watched AH on the stand. Okay? It's not about classification of the item so that it's only used for particular things and graded accordingly. It is not that we are looking for it to be available on the wider market. Love of God, the hell is wrong with you people if you think that that's a good idea. It meant banning the device completely. I don't think they could have been more clear than if they wrote all this crap on, that Kool-Aid character that busts through walls in Family Guy. All right? The fact that you continue to miss this time and again as you continue to write this nonsense says a whole lot to me. And I can tell you, it's not exactly giving me faith in our federal court system. I'm going to go ahead and close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to utilize those comments. I appreciate your time tonight. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I will see you next time. Bye bye.